God being love is also happiness, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. So, I mean, obviously, we can see that God being love is also happiness. I mean, that shouldn't be a problem. Mostly because we have this conceptual idea of what God is, and we don't realize that there's a difference between what God actually is and our conceptual ideas of what God is. Our conceptual ideas are mostly referencing to the fact that we can comprehend something, say, that is incomprehensible. Something like God. We can somewhat wrap our mind around it in this idea, to say the sense of what love is. We can't even wrap our minds around what love is, and yet we think we can grasp even just slightly what God is. We have this strange idea in our head. In fact, we are designed and programmed to be in the sense of having an idea of God, just like many atheists would say they don't believe in God, and yet what they are referencing to is just their conceptual ideas of what God is. Someone else might have the same conceptual ideas of what God is and believe in it, and that's what they're saying usually, that they don't believe in that type of God, that conceptual ideal of what God is. Just like I would say that I don't really believe in, say, what love is between two people, but that what makes up the entirety of the universe being an experience of that aspect of the universe. So in that crazy opening up of what we are discovering in the sense of God being love is also happiness, let me remember love is happiness and nothing else brings joy. And so I choose to entertain no substitutions for love. It's so easy in this world that we have so many variables to everything that we think then it's applicable to have just as many variables all of a sudden of what, say, God is. And we put these variables on God in the sense of making it complicated. Yes, if we were to define it, if we were to shape it, make it into something, yes, it would be absolutely complicated. It would. But the fact that you think you need to define it and shape it into something is where the problem is. It's like you can't recognize what it actually is if you're going to look at it as it actually is. If you're going to experience it as it actually is, you cannot make it into something it's not. So it's tricky, especially when you get to this next one. Love is my heritage, and with it joy. These are the gifts my Father give me, and I would accept all that is mine in truth. So if you're seeking for what belongs to you in truth, you can't also bring your definitions that really, I mean, yes, they belong to you all the time, but you can't actually experience what truth has to offer if you're making it into something it's not. So that's the key thing about definitions and construct of shape and form. You're making everything into something it is not. You're literally looking at God right now, and you're making it look like something it's not. You're making the whole universe look like it's something when technically it's none of these things. None of these things are like the other. The one thing, which is God, remains the same. So this lesson does bring up joy quite often, as the two lines that it has joy in it. And so this idea that love brings joy. And to say that, I mean, as far as since my death experience, to say that you've experienced joy in life is absolutely bonkers. Like, no way. I mean, in my death experience, I was being just absolutely obliterated by this presence of joy. And that it was, I can't even compare it to, I say 1% of the happiness I've felt in my life is just 1% in comparison to the joy that I was feeling. That absolutely phenomenal. So yes, outside of this world, it's there, and it belongs to you in truth.